Hello and welcome to the English box. My name is Edward Maxwell Wood and today we will be talking about the past perfect simple. Okay, as you can see on the screen, we're going to look at the structure of the past perfect simple first. Decorated here with three pictures of Robert Pattinson with Spider-Man and E.T. You can see the sentence, "I had seen the film." So, to form the past perfect, first of all, we need the subject. So I, you, he, she, it, we or they, which is then followed by the auxiliary verb to have in the past form, which is had. This is then followed by the past participle, the third column of verbs, and in this case we have the past participle seen from the verb to see. Finally, we add the complement, the extra information or the object of the sentence, in this case, the film. So the complete sentence, I had seen the film. You had seen the film. He had seen the film. We had seen the film. Or they had seen the film. This is the positive form of the sentence. To make the sentence negative, all you have to do is to make the auxiliary verb negative. This means that you can change it from had to hadn't or had not. Normally in spoken English we use the contracted form. So I hadn't seen the film. Moving on to the question formation. Again, very simple. All you have to do is invert the subject and the auxiliary verb. So in place of I have seen the film or you have seen the film, we say have you seen the film, or have we seen the film, or have they seen the film. So just like in the other videos that we looked at with the other tenses, with the present simple, the present continuous, past simple, past continuous, first of all you have to put the auxiliary verb and then the subject and then the main verb. Okay, so that's the structure of the past perfect simple. Now we're going to ask the question, when do we use the past perfect simple? So moving on to the next slide, you can see 5 example sentences. So first of all, we'll have a look at these sentences, and then we'll look to see if there's one particular pattern in each of these sentences. Maybe it'll give you a clue as to when we use this tense. So, the first sentence, I had done my homework when my father arrived home. Secondly, he had completed half the marathon when he decided he couldn't run anymore. They had eaten 3 courses, but they were still hungry. You had only met them twice before you were invited to the wedding, hadn't you? Had you been to America before you went to New York last year? So, have you got any idea when we use the past perfect? We're going to move on to the next slide and analyze these sentences in a little more detail. So, this is the third slide. At the top you can see a diagram, a picture of when we use these past perfect tense. Underneath we have the 5 sentences again. So if we look at the first sentence, I had already done my homework when my father arrived home. You'll see the action of your father arriving home is underlined with a red line. This is the past reference point. The action is in past simple, and we refer to this point when we use the past perfect, I had done my homework, to express and describe the fact that the action happened before the action in past simple. So if you look at the diagram, the past reference point in this sentence is my father arrived home, and at some point in the past perfect zone, the homework was completed. I did my homework before my father arrived home, when my father arrived home, my homework was finished. In the second sentence, he had completed the marathon when he decided, or he had completed half the marathon when he decided he couldn't run anymore. This moment when he makes the decision, he decided, is the past reference point, and he had completed half the marathon before this happened. So we use the past perfect to move this, or describe or express the fact that this action happened before another action in the past. The same again in number 3, they had eaten 3 courses, but they were still hungry. They were still hungry is the past reference point, and before this action, before this state, if you like, they had eaten 3 courses. Again, you had only met them twice. Before you were invited, this action happened before, very clear with the use of the adverb as well. And had you been to America before you went to New York last year? So I know the person went to New York last year. I want to find out, to discover the information if they had been there already, or if this visit to New York was the very first time. Okay, so underneath, to give you a little bit more help perhaps, I've translated the sentence. I have done it into Spanish and into German. It has a very, very similar formation. You have the subject, and then you have the verb have, or haben, or haber in the past form, and then you have the past participle. In German this comes after the object, in Spanish in much the same way as in English. Okay, after the auxiliary verb. So I have is ich hatte, or yo había, and then done would be gemacht or hecho, and it in German would be es, and in Spanish lo. Okay, so you can see how this translates into English. Okay, I hope that clarified a few aspects and helped you to understand the use of the past perfect tense. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be giving more information on the past perfect simple in conjunction with the past perfect continuous in the next video. Be sure also to check out the English literature box with Paul Leeworthy, another teacher at the English box, who is also currently making videos on various different authors, famous authors. Okay, thanks once again, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.